I have the pleasure of closing us out with the introduction of our two senior vice presidents, Dr. Jean Axius and Dr. Susan Reinhard, who will help give closing remarks in our final call to action. Thank you.
Applause.
Yeah.
Wow. And then also, I know Susan's going to do this, but I also want to just acknowledge Wen and Mary Anderson. Can you give them a round of applause? What an amazing conversation. I am really deeply inspired by the conversation today, and not just really the conversation, but the tangible action items that we can actually take away from today's conversation to really start to close those gaps. I know we're going to be talking about a lot of ideas, and we'll get to it. But before that, I just want to also acknowledge the program committee and everyone who was involved in today's program. When we first started this process, one of the key things we talked about was an opportunity to really create opportunities to hear from different voices. And I think it's fair to say that between Toshiba and Taquana that we heard not just the insights, but the opportunity to really accelerate the pace of change. In addition to that, I also want to acknowledge our amazing sponsors, because no organization can do this in isolation. AHIP, the Joint Commission, Leapfrog, United have all been part of today's conversations and also the development of the programming, because it really does require partnerships, strategic partnerships to really scale for impact. I worked for Susan. In fact, it was in 2007.
Yes.
It's in 2007, Susan came to AARP to be the senior vice president for the Public Policy Institute. And she invited me to join her and some of her colleagues to look at right-sizing nursing homes. And I said, absolutely, she's the boss. Sure, why not? But I learned so much. And what I also learned was the need to really think about how we do translation. That it was not just about research, it was taking the research, the evidence, the policy, and translating that into action. So I just wanted to personally say thank you, and how full circle this moment is for me.
Do you see how fast he rose? See this? We're so proud of him. Thanks. So we need to thank Gene, because he paid for all of this. Thank you, Gene. We appreciate it. And I'll add some more thanks. You already said Mary and Jasmine and Wynn, but we have Anita Jackson, Aidan McCallion, Diana Rubin, Jordan Green, Dr. Patrice Little, Jennifer Peed, and Mary Boyle, and of course the AARP Broadcast Studios. But I also want to add our thanks to our Robert Wood Johnson Foundation partners and colleagues. Beth Toner, is she still here? Where is she? Yay, there's Beth. and Ashley Darcy Mahoney, who's at GW, but she is a liaison for us, so thank you so much for all of that. And the Action Coalitions. So I'm looking at my Jersey girl there. Thank you so much. The Action Coalitions are really kind of the heartbeat of our work. We're very proud. We consider it like the major asset of the Center to Champion Nursing in America. You know, every state works very hard. They don't get any money for this either. Maybe a little bit before, but not now. So we thank you for everything you're doing around the Future of Nursing report, which is all centered on health equity. So that's one of my first actions is read it. Somebody else said that, right? Make sure you read it. Lots of things going on. And just to share a little news, it was the day after Labor Day, and Beth called me. Again, where is she, Beth? Beth called me, and she said, how would you like another $150,000 so that we could have what we called Health Equity Innovation Funds? But you have to match it. So we went to Jean and to Rita Shula, who's not here, who is an enterprise strategy. Oh, is she in? Hi, Rita. Does long-term care and caregiving, and my own Public Policy Institute. And we did a 3-to-1 match. So we very rapidly got a call out, and we have over 30 proposals focused on health equity innovations, and we're going to be reviewing them. Some of the reviewers are in the room. I think somebody just asked for more time, but I don't know. I don't know about that, because we want to get that money out there. We want those innovations pumping, and we're looking for other funding to continue doing this. So I just want to make that announcement. So with that, why don't we just chat a little bit, just a little, because, you know, that food's there, about some ideas that we've heard. that you think?
I think what's so interesting is the fact that how we kicked off and how we are ending today. And one of the key themes that I was very struck by was by the amazing keynote by Aisha, who's still with us, when she talked about representation and how critical that is. And then we heard with the last panel, particularly the powerful story about representation. And that when you see someone that looks like you, that it signals that it is possible. And clearly, if there are not individuals who look like you, then what can we do to change that ecosystem to make that even possible? So I just wanted to acknowledge this idea of representation, and I was so struck by the power of the voice and how an environment can silence that voice or help to amplify it. I used to use the term empowered, and I was talking to someone from the Bloomberg Foundation, and she said, well, in order to empower someone, it might suggest that they are disempowered, and that what disempowered them? And are you or your organization in a position to transfer that power back to them? And I said, wow, I never thought about that. So it's about amplifying and giving that sense of agency. The other thing I would say about representation is, if you think about this last panel, it was multi-generational.
Oh, wow. Good noticing that. Very good.
It was multi-generational. And I think that is critically important for us to really think about the opportunities for closing these gaps, because we don't have 50 years to wait. And that is really going to require all ages at all life stages. And the action I would suggest is that for all of us to identify someone in our workplaces who don't look like us, who is not from our background or walk of life, and create an opportunity for mentorship and reverse mentorship. You both will benefit.
I love the reverse. And the sponsorship we heard, too. That's really good, too. So I jotted a few things down, too, almost in order. Rear Admiral Mix. Oh, my gosh. Was that amazing? She's just, I know she's not in the room right. Oh, she's there. See?
You're so formal.
I said it.
Admiral.
See, I said it and I didn't even think you were in the room. How do you like that? But here, I wrote down something that you said. Nurses should bring a chair or create a new table if they can't. I really love that. I just don't just be blocked out. If you can't get to the table, bring another table. So thank you for that. I think that's an action we could all be thinking about. And Mary Anderson was read the Future of Nursing report. And then I had Toshiba, wake up every day and commit to being non-judgmental. I love that. I'm going to write that down at home and by my alarm clock. I'm going to do that, I think. Mary Jo, use the Health Equity Toolkit. Yay! That was in there, right? Deanna, end racism together. So I'm very proud. You all were I'm on the vice chair of the system, so I always have to say that. But it's really good, right? Jean really liked it.
We did. So much so that we've actually shared it more broadly. We had an entire box of the strategic plan as a good model for other organizations.
So I think we ought to make sure you have a link to it. So there's 2 tools we just had. So I think that really helps when you do that. And Anna McKee, the Joint Commission, spread the word. We have to spread the word. I know she's saying they're all powerful. And so when the Joint Commission's coming, they hear, right? We heard that. But we can share the word once we know the July surprise. Gotta find out what that is. Okay, you gotta tell us. You go now.
I think another key point is what we heard from our colleague Deneen about what matters, about measurement and impact. And the need to do that. I mean, that is so critically important. And the work that under her leadership with Mullock and the entire team to be able to pull together more than 30 organizations across 7 states to be able to really crystallize and quantify the impact that they want to make. And this idea of rapid cycle change.
Yes, I love that.
It is so critically important, right?
And she also said, set bold goals. Right? And I know you don't want to be too patient. We got to set bold goals. So those were just some of the thoughts we had. I wish we could go around the room and get what you are thinking and taking away with you. We know that we don't have the time for that, but please just let me thank you all for being here. It's just amazing that you were given your time, which we know is oh so precious. And those that are watching in, I know we had some technical difficulties. Poor Jasmine, oh my God, Jasmine. She was getting, but Dr. Patrice was saying to her, just breathe. And it worked. She just did some deep breaths. So please stay for the reception. I'm going to let you go a little bit earlier here, and stay commuting for anybody who is driving. Oh my goodness, it took my friend Karen 2 hours to get here this morning in an Uber. That's a problem. So thank you all. Say goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Bye.
Now the hard work starts.